What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB Recap. Yesterday, we got to see MVP frontrunners Shohei Ohtani and Bryce Harper both go yard, but only one of their teams actually won. The San Francisco Giants made a wild roster move. It's not really wild, but the player that they optioned, that is a pretty crazy story. Stay tuned for that. Cleveland, they're officially on the verge of being labeled frauds and losing not only the AL Central, but maybe even a wild card spot. And you guys are about to feel really old with this next sentence. Anthony Rendon, he was back in Washington for the first time since 2019, 5 years ago. Remember, everyone, MLB Recap is brought to you by SeatGeek. Don't forget to use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets. A lot of you guys have been having fun on Underdog Fantasy, and if you're brand new to the app, be sure to use code Fuzzy and you'll get a $250 bonus cash credit and this free pick'em. You're welcome. We're going to start off with the Phillies at the Diamondbacks. Rookie Adrian Del Castillo had his fingerprints all over this game. Wait to see how it ended. Now, it really looked like Trey was going to make that play, but then he pulled up. Jock Peterson, he's been a glitch this year. 19 home runs. He doubles their lead. He's got a 170 or 180 OPS plus, something insane like that. Ryan Nelson, his fastball and his other pitches were lethal, and he used that nasty stuff to hold the Phillies scoreless through 6. But now we're in the 7th. We have Vegas Boy versus Vegas Boy, and the chosen one beat, I don't know if Ryan Nelson has a famous nickname, but yeah, he beats Ryan Nelson in round number 3. Bryce was 0 for 2 coming into that at bat. Harper went to Las Vegas High School. Ryan Nelson went to Basic High School up the street. By the way, Harper, I know that he's been passed up by Ohtani and Marte, but he's Bryce Harper. He's got 26 home runs and a 153 OPS plus. One hot streak can change everything. Nelson kept on shredding. He goes 7 2/3 with 9 strikeouts, but he's taken out after walking Nick Castellanos. AJ Puck, the newcomer, could not help out his starting pitcher. And Mundo Sosa, he ties it at 2, but like I said a few moments ago, the rookie Adrian Del Castillo had his fingerprints all over this game. One pitch, that is his first home run, and his first home run is a walk-off tater. That's the first time in Diamondbacks franchise history that a rookie hit their first home run as a walk-off. That was a lot of fun. I know this might seem like a random transition, but let's talk about the Tigers and the Giants. I promise you there's a point to this. Bo Brisky and Kenta Maeda, they combined for 6 no-hit frames when, of course, the rookie phenom Tyler Fitzgerald broke it up. And then the RBI machine, Michael Conforto, he put the ball in play after Fitz made it to third, so the sac fly brings it to a 1-run game. There's another sac fly, this time off the bat of Patrick Bailey, who I believe leads all MLB catchers in WAR, which is crazy. Now, just like the last game, it's 2-2 in the 9th inning, and it all started with a Colt Keith error. He boots it, which was followed by Jason Foley completely forgetting how to throw strikes. There was a walk, there was a hit by pitch, and that was a scary hit by pitch. Chapman, he singled that, he's okay, and would you look at this? Mark Canha, he was traded from the Tigers to the Giants. He's playing his first home game in San Francisco. It's a walk-off against the team that he was just traded from. By the way, he's hitting .444 with 3 RBIs his first 5 games as a Giant, and the Giants have won 3 games in a row. Whoa, we have some breaking news. The Giants have sent down, they have optioned their all-star closer, Camilo Doval. Now, Doval, he led the entire National League with 39 saves last year, and dating back to 2022, he had 66 saves with a 2.7 ERA and a pretty solid 11.1 strikeouts per 9. Now, his ERA did balloon to almost 5 this year, despite the fact that he does have 22 saves. They might be going with one of the Rogers twins. Maybe it's going to be Tyler or Taylor. Sometimes I call one of them Trevor. Trevor's on the Orioles now, but it's Tyler and Taylor. But because the Giants have won 3 games in a row, they're now 2 games back of a final wildcard spot. They can't afford to blow games in the 9th, so Duvali's been sent down. They're trying to fix his command, and then they'll bring him back up if they make a playoff run. Or maybe they won't. You guys get the trends? You think that the walk-offs are over? No. Anthony Rendon, he's back in Washington for the first time since signing with the Angels and winning a World Series in 2019. Now, I'm going to skip to the 8th inning after we show this error, so there's a run. And here's also a no-doubter from Joe Adell, who's been given all of the leash in the world this year. He has 17 home runs, but a really bad 277 on base and 104 strikeouts and 365 at-bats. But he might go 20-20, and he's been playing a lot better defense this year, which is good. Jose Soriano, he had 7 strikeouts over 6, but his bullpen could not hold the lead. Jose Quijada, he couldn't get Alex Call out, and Call came around to score on a Juan Yepes sac fly. Those 2 guys have been backpacking the Nationals as of late, same with James Wood. So we go to the 10th inning, and I already spoiled it because I said it's a walk-off. Only one team can walk it off. Alex, he answers the call. I know that's kind of cheesy, but his name's Alex Call. I had to do it. He was promoted to essentially fill in the gap left behind by Lane Thomas. Alex Call is hitting .460 with 5 extra base hits, 8 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases since being promoted a couple days ago. That's insane. So because we just talked about Lane Thomas, we know he was traded to the Guardians, and his new team has now lost 6 games in a row, and Lane has 5 hits since being traded. Alex Call has 5 hits the last 48 hours. Now, we do have some terrible news. If you're a Twins fan, I'm so sorry, but Joe Ryan, he's going to be missing the rest of the regular season with a grade 2 strain in this teres major. More former Guardians, Carlos Santana, he connected on a long home run. He put on that Prince hat, and you better not sweat in it because now Ryan Jeffers gets to wear it. That second home run makes it 3-0 for Bailey Ober, who now has 9 consecutive quality starts. Ober, he went 6 scoreless with 9 punch outs, just 2 base hits. You got to tip your cap because his fastball and splitter combination was working wonders. Max Kepler, this was a big time web gem because he robs Will Brennan, which means that this is just a 2-run home run. Brian Rocchio has 5 home runs. He makes it 3-2. It would have been 3-3. Rocchio, he was given one more chance with the runner on, but he strikes out to end it. Duran got all 3 outs via the strikeout. He now has 16 saves as the Twins win game number 1 on to game number 2. Yes, this was a doubleheader. Alex Cobb made his debut, and I wish that he didn't because Willie Castro, he just stole home. They got no outs on the play, and then an error led to Minnesota's second run, which good thing that they got that run because Josh Naylor, he's staring at his 26th home run of the year, a 3-run bomb to take the lead. But Fuzzy, why did you not want Alex Cobb starting? Well, you see, dear child, he left a sinker down the middle, dude. You can't do that to Matt Wallner, who was basically swinging Mjolnir, that's Thor's hammer. He's swinging the bat that hard this year. He's top 1% in bat speed, exit velocities, hard hit percentage, launch angle. He's hitting the ball as hard as anyone we've ever seen before. He's up there with Judge and Ohtani. He's actually been better than Judge over the last month. I'm not talking about stats. I'm talking about like raw power and exit velocities. He's got 21 home runs and a 153 OPS plus his last 290-ish at bats. Anyways, with this W, the Twins sweep the doubleheader. The Guardians, no, they've lost 7 games in a row, and the Twins, they're now 1.5 game back of first place. Get me out of here. So we just talked about exit velocities, Ohtani, and all that stuff, and you guys are about to get a front row seat to one of Ohtani's best of the season. Not before Jack Flaherty made his LA debut. He strikes out Brian Reynolds for his first as a Dodger, and let me just say this. I love Mookie Betts, but he should never play shortstop ever again if Miguel Rojas is healthy. What a play from him. Freddie now has 17 home runs. That ball was smoked. So if that ball was smoked, what do you call this? Bombarded? Catapulted? Whatever it was, Ohtani got all of it. 448 feet at 113. Let's round up 114 miles an hour. He's batting .305 with 35 home runs and 32 stolen bases already. Sandy Koufax was in the house. I keep forgetting that Sandy is actually not 170 years old. Sandy's in attendance to watch Will Smith kind of break out of his mini slump. He had a 2-run excuse me swing, and Miguel Rojas, he now clutched up with the stick. So it's 7-0 LA. Mitch Keller got rocked. Just like this baseball, O'Neal Cruz knows a thing or two about crazy exit velocities. That's his 18th home run. Oof, Jack Flaherty's debut got spoiled big time with a Bart dart. That is Joey Bart's 10th home run, a 3-run tater. And Enrique, he better send Brian Reynolds an early Christmas gift. He's got to find his family, figure out what Brian wants, and get him exactly that because Brian knocked an out. It would have been an out for a home run, a 2-run home run as the Pirates, they've lost 5 games in a row. Luis Ariz is back in Miami for the first time since being traded, and he got booed for some reason. Anyways, a few days ago, I referred to Jake Berger and Jonah Bride as Mike Schmidt and Mike Piazza, and they did it again. Jake Berger has 13 home runs since the 1st of July. He's tied with Brent Rooker for the most in MLB. Jonah Bride makes it back-to-back. Miami, they are feeling themselves in this one. They put Edward Cabrera up a few, and man, was Edward special. Now, I will say Jackson ran into an out after he tripled, so no damage done technically on that one. Skip, he was about to pull Edward 1 out away from going 7 shutout because there's 2 on, 2 outs. He's trying to get out of this jam, but he left Edward, and I love this stuff. Edward, he convinced his manager, and bang! That is huge for Edward's confidence. 7 scoreless, just 4 base hits. He got Luis Campusano on the strikeout. The other Luis, Mr. Ariz, he just struck out for the first time in a few weeks. July 13th was the last time Luis Ariz struck out. Manny Machado, this dude has been deleting baseballs lately. If Pache can't catch that, no one can. There's an RBI double. Jackson Merrill, this kid is a superstar in the making. He reminds me a lot of Jarren Duran. He's got power, speed, defense, and flair. He got all of it, and he ties it at 2. That forces extras, and Oh no, that's a painful way to take the lead. Tyler Wade body slams in there, and Manny, he doubled again to push the lead even further. He's batting .310 with 24 extra base hits and 37 RBIs over his last 52 games. Jackson had a second RBI, and that made it a non-save op for Taylor Scott, the former Marlin. No damage done. The Padres have won 6 games in a row. So nothing changed in the NL West. What about the AL side of things? Remember, both teams are tied for first place. Houston is taking on the Red Sox. The Mariners, they're taking on the Mets. So we'll show the Mets game after this one. And I don't care if Trevor Story is almost healthy. Boston, they can't take this guy out. David Hamilton, he's so much fun to watch. Now, I know he's a rookie and the on-base skills need some work, but he's got 5 stolen bases and 7 extra base hits his last 16 starts. Altuve, does anyone know what dimension bat Altuve swings? It looks like it's 37-34 in his hands, but that's a long home run. Singleton, he put the single in Singleton, and Jeremy Pena, he did the same thing. They both grab RBI singles. Now here we go. This is the moment of the game. Rafi, he's up there with the bases loaded. Boston's down by 2. Taylor Scott got him. Rafi slammed his helmet. I would have done the same thing. The Astros, they kept their momentum going with RBI extra base hits from Yordan Alvarez, Yainer Diaz. Yordan turned on the boozer fastball, and Yainer, he's batting .301 with 11 home runs and 61 RBIs with 3 consecutive multi-hit games. The Astros, they've won 3 games in a row. Houston fans had to put their little Mets caps on because, again, they have to root for them big time so they can clutch up versus Seattle. But as they say, ignorance is bliss. That's got to be in the top 5 for cringiest puns I've ever had. But Ryan Bliss has some dang tools. 410 feet for a 2-run tank. He's only 5'7", but he's got pretty decent exit velocities. He had 10 home runs and 35 stolen bases in 62 AAA games. Again, that tool belt is full. He just has to figure out a way to put the ball in play a little bit more consistently. And he's 5'7". We love short kings on this channel. I don't know why they replayed this Randy clip over and over, because he made that play 10 times harder than it should have been. I don't think that it's a web gem. Anyways, Leo Rivas, another rookie with a 2-run knock on the Mariners. They're straight up cruising right now. Cal Raleigh is not a rookie, but that is Seattle's 3rd 2 RBI base hit of the game. That's as clean of a game as the Mariners have played all year. Bryce Miller, he was absolutely nails as well as their starting pitcher. He struck out 6 Mets in as many innings, allowing 0 runs. Obviously, it was a 9-inning shutout. He had 3 base hits allowed, just 1 walk. And by the way, he tossed 87 pitches, 60 of them for strikes. So he was just peppering the strike zone. So the Astros and Mariners are still tied for first place, but if it stayed that way, Seattle would be a wild card team because they have a losing record against the Astros this year. And I should have shown the Astros and Red Sox game second, because now we have to shift gears back to the wild card. And the Red Sox, they really need the Cardinals to put the Royals in place. And this was a fun game because the Redbirds, they came out hacking. Wilson, one of the hardest things to do in baseball is go oppo at Kaufman, and they're still using that Randy Orton belt, which I think is a lot of fun. It's their new home run celebration. Burleson, he's one of the biggest reasons why Randy Orton came to St. Louis and gave them a belt, and he's smiling from ear to ear because, again, Randy was his role model. He gets to use the belt now. The Cardinals, they scored the first 3 on home runs, and Kansas City scored the next 5 on not home runs. Cal Isbell's in there for a stand-up RBI triple. Michael Massey, it's now 3-2. In scores Isbell. Salvi, he's pumping his fist because he just made it a 3-3 game, and I have no idea who's going to take this one. I mean, right now it looks like the Royals all the way. Michael Garcia, he doubled in Melendez, and Massey, his sac fly gives him 2 RBIs and the Royals a 5-3 lead. Now, St. Louis took a punch to the gut with this rally ender. Bobby Witt Jr. turned the double play, but that's why baseball is a 9-inning game. Pham, he had an RBI ground out to make it 5-4, and the rookie Victor Scott II, he tagged a clutch 2-run double. I thought it was going to be a home run, but the Cardinals now have the lead, and Wilson, his second 2-run home run of the game. That ball was belted, good lord. Helsley now has 37 saves after he converted a double play. The Red Sox stay 1.5 game back of the Royals for the final wildcard spot. So who's going to win the AL Central? Who's going to be the 3rd wildcard team in the AL? It's a movie right now. The Cardinals are trying to gain some ground on the Braves, and Atlanta cannot afford to not sweep the Rockies. They have to use this series as a springboard. Marcel, he understood the assignment. 448 feet at basically 115 miles an hour. He's got 34 home runs and an NL best 89 RBIs. Brenton Doyle, welcome to 2020. No, not the year 2020, the 2020 club. 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases. He also has 9 outs above average, so he's becoming one of the more valuable players in baseball. Don't look at his splits, though. Ryan McMahon stole second base with ease, so he's now a duck on a pond in scoring position, and Brendan Rodgers, he singled him home. The Rockies make it 5-0 after Elias Diaz doubled home. Another, and why am I running out of breath? I'm not that fat. And then Charlie Blackmon, Chuck Nasty, his base hit brought home Elias Diaz. Whoa. The Braves, they're showing a pulse, and yes, this does count as a pulse. Whit Merrifield drove in Jared Kelenic, and Ramon, He's saying the Braves are still alive. He goes Oppo Taco, and then Jorge Soler socked his first home run since the trade and his first since winning 2021 World Series MVP with Atlanta. It's just that Ryan McMahon, he doesn't care about lefty-lefty, righty-lefty, whatever it is. He is so good. His RBI double steals the lead back. And Victor Vodnak, the rookie closing pitcher, he got another save chance, even though he was really bad the last time that we saw him. 100-mile-per-hour paint to get Austin Riley. The Braves have lost 6 games in a row. They're now only 1 game up on the Cardinals in the NL wildcard race. Even the Cubs are catching up to the Braves, and now they have to take on the Grady Sizemore Whites. Garrett Crochet, buddy, are you trying to embarrass my GOAT? Ian Happ is really good, so you can't be that. All right, bro. Cody, I know he's good too, but what are these pitches? Both home runs were hit on some of the fattest pitches I've ever seen. That's the first lefty-lefty home run ever hit off of Garrett Crochet, and of course, it happens when Grady's making his managerial debut. Isaac Paredes went yard, so it's 5-0. 5-0, yeah, about that. It's now 6-0 because Nico Horner, he found a barrel as well. 4 home runs versus Garrett, and yeah, Grady, please go get him. His first ever pitching change. It was crazy for me to see my role model, like my favorite player of all time, out there in baseball again, and people caring and realizing how good he was. He pushed all the right buttons, though. The White Sox pitchers went 6 2/3 shutout after they took out Garrett Crochet, and the offense woke up. Vaughn had a home run. They brought in a few more, so it's 7-4 after 4. Benny Biceps, he took over. He was a one-man show. He launched 2 home runs to make it a 1-run game. He's got 5 RBIs his last 5 games. Benny worked a sick at-bat in the 9th. The crowd's going nuts. The bases are jacked. Grady's hyped up. It's all up to Vaughnie, as Grady just called him. Now listen, I know that they lost the game, but White Sox Twitter, they were having a great time, and they really like Grady Sizemore. They're calling him a human, not a robot who just has PR answers. I'm just praying that the White Sox can pick up, I think it's 14 games, because if they get 14 Ws, they won't be the worst team ever. Back to the American League. Baltimore fans, they got to be over the moon about this game, because I know it wasn't a blowout or anything, but Zach Eflin, he showed up big time versus his former team, Colton. I mean, is he the rookie of the year? Should we just hand it to him now? I know the Yankees got a few guys with Luis Heel and Austin Wells. Boston, they have Willie Abreu, who's very much in the conversation. They also have David Hamilton and a few other guys. But I think Baltimore is going to get another free draft pick if Colton wins again, because they won it last year with Gunnar. Speaking of Mr. Gunnar, he ran a mile to make this running grab, and Zach Eflin, he really appreciated that. He locked in and straight up carved his former team. Jose Siri, why are you swinging at that? I mean, that's just Jose Siri in a nutshell. Yandy makes it 2 strikeouts in a row, and he then strikes out the side talking about Zach Eflin. His cutter was really working, and that unlocked all of the other pitches. Ryan O'Hearn and Cedric Mullins, they both contributed with big RBIs, and O'Hearn, I mean, that was a 2-run blooper. And Mullins went to the fish tank. Thank goodness they got some netting out there. Mullins, he's got 12 home runs and 19 stolen bases, but a terrible 276 on base. Eflin, he goes 7 scoreless with 7 strikeouts. So I know this wasn't off of him. Carlson, I do want to show this. He has 2 home runs as a Ray. But the Orioles win 4-1, and they're back in first place with a whopping half-game lead over the Yankees. George Springer is having himself a Cedric Mullins type of season, because he too has a good amount of home runs, 14, but just a 92 OPS plus. Vladdy, he's got a 21-game hit streak. I think he might go 30. I'm going to knock on wood as I say that, but he looks like he might go 25, 30 games. I kind of wish that he had been traded, because I want to see him in the playoffs. Daryl Hernandez, my friend, his first hater. He became a dad like 2 weeks ago, so I 100% contribute this to dad strength, and I don't even know how he hit that pitch out, because it was a foot inside. Jose Barrios, he was really good after that. He struck out a bunch. And look at Vladdy Jr. flying into the stands. What a play, and now Vladdy is scoring. Alejandro Kirk, he was able to beat out a double play, so that's fun. Alejandro Kirk, anytime you see him running. Another gem from the Blue Jays, Leo Jimenez. He ends the top of the 8th. Enter Spencer Horwitz, who's also a rookie. He knew it instantly. He's got 5 home runs and a 126 OPS plus. The Jays, they've won 2 games in a row. Imagine if they won like 10 in a row, just to spice things up. Milwaukee is now 40% of the way to 10 wins in a row. If you guys know the math, you know exactly how many wins they have in a row. Willie Adames and the Brew Crew, they teed off for 8 runs before the 4th inning. Willie has 21 home runs, and the best part about his season, he has a 175 OPS plus with runners in scoring position, so he has been as clutch as it gets. Joey Ortiz, he doubles to deep center. Jake Bauer scored all the way from first. Bryce Terang, I need this guy to turn up the power over the next month and a half, because I need him to get to double-digit home runs. He's got 7 home runs, 33 stolen bases, and 17 defensive run saves, 17 DRS. The other speedy lefty, Sal Frelick, he dropped one in just ahead of the diving TJ Friedel. That is a stand-up triple to score Wilson. Wilson. That is a stand-up triple to score William Contreras, the brother of Wilson. Reese, he now has a 13-game hit streak. He had to pass Ellie De La Cruz for an RBI, and at least the man who rakes reminded us that he does in fact rake. Spencer Steer, he goes yard, and Stuart Fairchild. Are the Reds about to make a comeback? Yeah, no. The Brewers have won 4 games in a row. They're now 66-49 as Cincinnati. They dropped to 5 games back of the wild card. Man, that was a tough recap for me. My brain was just not working today. It's been a long week, so I'm excited to take tomorrow off. Love you guys. Enjoy the web gems, and I'll see you guys on Monday.
That's great.
Grounder down the line. Diving stop. Ortiz. The trail at first. Picked by Hoskins.
Line and caught by Xander Bogaerts.
There's a chopper. Here comes Vargas again. Bare hand. Yes, sir.
Lines it to right. Corbin Carroll back it up to the track to the wall. And he's got it.
And Marco. Bouncing ball. Jimenez. Nice play to second for one. On the.
I love that mindset.
High fly to left off the bat of Adames into the corner pretty deep. Steer at the wall. Makes the lead.